Welcome to another episode of Keeping It Real, the largest podcast made by real estate agents and for real estate agents. My name is DJ Paris. I am your guide and host through the show. And today we have our monthly series, Learn with a Lender, with Joel Schaub from Guaranteed Rate. If you're not familiar with Joel, Joel is a vice president of lending at Guaranteed Rate. By the way, they are located in all 50 states. He has been doing loans at a high level since 2003 and has got to that level because of what he does directly for real estate agents and their clients, which is he gives back part of his commission to the buyer on every transaction. Last year alone, Joel gave back over $291,000 in closing costs to buyers who worked with him, and that put Joel's volume in the top 0.1% of loan officers nationwide. In fact, out of 400,000 loan officers in the country, Joel is currently ranked number 137. Year to date, Joel has closed 172 sales transactions for just under $66 million in closings. And over the last 90 days, while we're at the stay-at-home situation, Joel has closed 122 transactions. Now, Joel can be reached at joel@rate.com. Again, joel@rate.com. And also on telephone or text, 773-654-2049. And before I bring on Joel, I want to encourage everyone in our audience, wherever you might be in the country, who is looking to partner with a great lending institution and loan officer, to just call Joel. So reach out to him. He's the best I've ever worked with, and we recommend him to our agents, and we would encourage you to do the same. So let's say hello to the biggest Cubs fan I know, Joel Schaub. Welcome. It's our first remote. This is, you are not normally at home or in the office.
I know, we're out and about here today. I'm calling from beautiful northern Michigan, and we're outside. I'm taking a 10-day vacation. I got the wife, I got the dog, and we're outside. We're doing a little bit of nature, a little bit of camping.
Well, if I know you, you're probably also working a little bit each day as well, because I know that is, it's such a big, you have so many clients and so many people work with you. I'm sure you're still staying pretty busy too.
We had 6 closings yesterday, and what happens here is once you start and you build it, it doesn't necessarily matter where you're at. What we found right now, and you've probably seen this, it really is about getting back to basics as an agent and learning what it takes to close transactions and stop doing all this other fluff. Right now, we think we're staying busy and we're doing these things, but does it actually lead to more clients, more referrals, and a happier life? Or are we just keeping ourselves busy doing things that we don't necessarily need to do? So based on what we've seen in the last 90 days with COVID-19, I think it's time to really focus on what's actually bringing in business and cut everything else out.
Yeah, there's a great book written by Gary Keller, who founded Keller Williams, called The One Thing. For our audience, it is a book specifically about what Joel just mentioned, is what is the one thing that is going to drive your business the furthest, and then figuring out ways to delegate or even offloading some of the extraneous stuff so you can focus on that most important part.
Oh, I love that. It's absolutely true. I've read the book twice, and it literally is, what is the one thing that you can do to grow your business, or what is the one thing you can do right now, right? Because there's always this, I used to be a guy that made lists, and at the end of the day, I felt really good because I checked everything off from the list. And I got away from that. It wasn't about just checking everything off the list. It was actually figuring out the things that actually resulted in closed business. And that's what we did over the last 90 days to close 122 transactions in a 90-day period while we're all really working remotely. It wasn't all the extraneous things that we thought were bringing in business, okay? So I want to share a couple of things that I found over the last 90 days that really, if I were an agent, I would actually be planning my next 6 months, 12 months, and 18 months based on doing less will get us more. So are we ready?
Yes, we love it.
Okay, so it's all about making sure that we do the right type of events, okay? As an agent, if you're not doing events, you're doing something wrong, okay? And they don't have to be big time money events, but it has to be a way that you can get more buyers or more sellers, and you can only work your sphere so much, okay? If you're a good agent, everyone knows you do real estate, okay? Everybody knows that you do real estate. Everybody in your phone should know that you do real estate. But the more successful people are really branching out and getting people that know people that you know to come work, right? They want to list their home or sell their property. So doing the right type of events, and right now, it's literally just getting back to basics and doing those client appreciation events coming up when we're allowed to actually leave the house again, depending on what state you're in. So
Right.
planning ahead for the next 6, 12 months, what's going to be the event that you will put on when it's safe to be able to get people back out together, and really start planning for those things. You don't need to do a ton of events, but what you do need to do is get ready to have people out and make it the big event. Make it something that people will want to come to. It will help you grow your business.
Yeah, we should talk a little bit about your events, because I think you not only you really walk this talk. I mean, Joel's always doing something. I know, right now you have been giving back a lot. You've been doing daily giveaways. You've been also bringing food to first responders. But even before all this happened, you were doing a lot of Joel does a lot of bingo events, which honestly, I don't know that I've ever been to a real estate event that's more fun, because it's right up your alley. It is absolutely you and your wife's personality, and also you have staff there as well. And it is so much fun in the middle of the day to go for a couple of hours and bingo. And you give away very generous prizes, but boy, does that just pack the house. In fact, you run out of space every time. There's only a certain number of people, because it's so well well attended.
Well, we've done it at the yacht club a couple of times in a row now, where people come over and we do a real estate bingo. So nothing more fun than for an hour and a half on a weekday afternoon to get a bunch of people into a room, and we give away big screen TVs. We give away trips to Las Vegas. We've done things that are just outside the box, which is something that's fun and unique. And who doesn't want to go to a yacht club, right? Something that's different. So here in Chicago, where we've had our boat for the last 7 or 8 years, they are very generous with us. They allow us to use the space so that we don't have to have a big expensive cost to rent a room or pay a bunch of money for food. We just have it brought in, and a lot of times partners are giving us those contributions and gifts as well. So rely on your people. If you're a real estate agent right now, connect with your lender and literally say, I'm getting ready to do an event. Would you want to contribute? Because good loan officers out there should want to be a partner to you as an agent. And that's how I've gotten so many agents, is making sure that I partner with them. So go back to the lender that's calling you up and saying, hey, send me some of your buyers. Say, that's great. Can you contribute to my next event? Good ones will.
And
if they say no, drop them.
But well said.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about what's going on in the lending world right now. We know that rates are incredibly low. It's not all about rates. We know that too. But boy, is it a great time for buyers with rates being at where they're at.
Okay, they're going to be low for a while. Okay, and this is the thing that's happening. So a lot of people are saying you better hurry up. Never work with anyone that says you better hurry up. It's a sales pitch. Work with people that want to actually help you and be a friend to you, and that are educated, that have done this for a while. So rates will be low for some time. So let's get an idea of where the market is so that we can speak to buyers, not about rate, but about payment. Okay. Right. If I was a real estate agent right now, what I would be explaining is what the difference between the payment is this year versus what that payment would have been last year. Okay. As a buyer, you don't write the rate on your check, or you don't, Chase Quick pay the rate. What do you pay? You pay a payment. So right now, I think I'm back.
Oh, you're back. You're back. Yeah.
Rates are so low, people are calling, right? What we talk about right now is what is the difference in payment on, say, a $300,000 single family house this year versus what that house would have cost last year. And rates right now on 30-year fixed are at 3% or below in certain scenarios, which is crazy.
Amazing. Yeah.
15-year fixed rates are in the 2s. So you could lock in a 2.5, 2.75, somewhere in that range for 15 years. But the big focus here is, what does it save if you buy now versus waiting? If we buy a year or two from now, and the payment might be another $150 or $200 higher, because when rates do eventually go back up, and they will, what is the difference in payment on a rate of 4.5% versus if you could lock in at 3%. And that's the big focus, is making sure as a realtor, you can explain those types of small things. You don't need to know everything about the mortgage industry, just enough so that you can genuinely be a partner to the buyers that are out there. So on a $300,000 deal, would just say 10% down, today's rates mean that a buyer would be spending about $147 less per month than they would have with rates last year. That's $1,800 a year. It's a sizable number for a lot of people.
Huge. And also too, as agents, we need to remember that not all loan officers are cut this from the same cloth, right? Some have more, more information to provide. Some have less. And, I remember when I bought a condo about 15 years ago, I bought with some sort of arm. I can't remember, 5-year or something like that. And then eventually I thought, maybe I should switch over to a 15-year because I kind of would like to pay this thing off a little faster. And I was able to and it made sense for me to do that. However, I will say that my loan officer and my realtor did not come to me and say, you may want to think about refinancing. This is a great opportunity to switch. And you know what? Maybe what are your goals? What are you looking to do with this property? And it made sense for us to switch over to a 15-year. But I had to come up with that myself. Nobody was guiding me. So I think this is such a great, as an agent, I would want to partner with a loan officer who could have those kind of conversations to really be ongoing communicating with my clients to let them know, hey, what are your goals? And then let's figure out the best product for it.
It's about a partnership. And so I always talk about this. How do you grow your business as a realtor? And one of the biggest things is finding a good lender in your community, somebody that actually wants to help you grow your business. It's not about just somebody that can get rates and close transactions. It's somebody that'll actually be there to be educating the clients, holding their hand, and then once they close, hopefully if the person did a good job, they're going to get repeat business because of it. So you can go out there. There's so many good lenders that want to partner with a real estate agent. If you're not getting that from your lender, go find somebody literally that wants to contribute. It'll help you grow your business like crazy. And that's how in the last, you said it, 90 days, I did 122 transactions. It doesn't mean that you need to be in the office. I'm outside right now. I got 11-day vacation, and it's based on setting your goals and getting expectations for your team so that you can actually go out and not be in the office every single day.
Yeah, I was in Georgia recently. Joel actually gave me some great suggestions about where to go when I was there.
So good down there.
I was in Savannah, as Joel knows, and boy, I've been there, but I hadn't been there in 20 years. And your suggestions were very appreciated. I went to most of those places, and I think I could live there. Although I was there when there was virtually almost no tourism, so I don't know what it's like, when things go back to normal. But I loved it so much. But I was able to also do just about everything for my own job, which is a little different. I'm not a practicing real estate agent, but I do sort of similar things. And I was able to work fully from there. And I think so many agents have embraced some of the technology that's now afforded to them. And now we've all been kind of forced to use some of this technology that maybe in the past we went, well, I really prefer to do face-to-face business. And of course, all of us would probably prefer to do face-to-face business, but this probably is the new normal for a while. And how lucky are we that the whole country has really embraced this technology? I mean, my parents are doing Zoom, everybody's doing Zoom, and it really makes things a lot easier, and it really makes you mobile and efficient. You were saying the same thing about Guaranteed Rate. They had 2,000 people. They got everybody working remotely, and you guys didn't skip a beat.
Yeah, just under 6,000 people were in a physical office.
6,000, wow.
That physically that we ended up sending the laptops, the extra monitors, et cetera, so that in a 7 to 10 day period, the entire workforce was remote and able to do so. And I was talking to you off air about this. I think a lot of people can be more productive at home, depending on how many kids are running around, right? How many other distractions they have. But you can actually accomplish just about the same if you focus and you're not just turning on the TV and doing these different things. So we talked about one thing. We talked about events. The other thing that I want, if I was a real estate agent, that I would really be doing is learning how to delegate and hire. Okay.
Yes.
Finding the next person to do the inspections. As an agent, you think, oh, I have to do each one of these things. Well, during COVID-19, we've realized we can do a lot more with a lot less.
Yeah.
Okay. You could actually be a much better ally to your clients by doing the high level, the high dollar amount costs, and delegating. Okay. A lot of people think, oh, I have to go to the final walkthrough. Oh, I have to go to the closing. Certain times you could pay somebody to do those things. Well, you can continue to focus on prospecting and getting new transactions in your pipeline. Especially right now, we see how much we can do where we don't physically have to do all of those tasks. We thought that they were so important and we were so busy doing these things. But if you could actually take those activities and turn them into money-making activities, you'll continue to grow. So figure out what you want to earn and figure out if there's somebody that's less that you could actually hire to do those type of tasks. It will help you grow your business. You don't have to do all of those yourself.
Yeah, and remember too, we live in a global economy. This is what we call a gig economy. Gigs. We used to only use the word gigs. I'm a musician, so we used to only use the word gigs with respect to going and playing a show.
Right.
But we are. This is a gig economy now. We have so many players, pardon the pun, who from all over the world who are eager and want to work with you and have really competitive rates. So if you're an agent and maybe you're just an individual agent, you're not on a team, you don't have a ton of support from your office, or maybe there just aren't enough resources, or you're starting out and isn't a lot of money, you'd be shocked at how an admin that you can hire, a virtual administrator, or what they call a transaction coordinator, it's incredibly reasonably priced. You can have people compete for these jobs all over the world, and it'll allow you, as Joel said, to then focus on maybe what you really do best, which maybe it's prospecting, or it could be anything really. But yeah, it's just amazing. We're so lucky to live in at the time that we live in. Obviously, there's a lot of challenges right now during this time globally as well as here in the United States. But we still have the ability to reach out to people and get them on our team. And it's not always as expensive as you might think.
You're exactly right. And since this is Learn with a Lender, before we go, I wanted to just go through one thing that I think would be really helpful right now and just talk about the mortgage qualifications, because there's a lot of misinformation out there. It's so much harder to get an approval now. The guidelines have changed like crazy. So let's just talk about a couple of things. So as an agent, when you're out there in the next couple of weeks talking to buyers or sellers, you can have a couple of pieces of information that'll make you sound really intelligent about it, because you
Okay.
learned it here on the Keeping It Real podcast. So the big things that did change were jumbo financing across the United States. They have pulled back on the low down payment for jumbo transactions. It used to be no problem to buy a home at $1.2 million, $1.3 million and put down 5 or 10%. A lot of that stuff has come all the way back to what it used to be, where you need to have a 20% down payment. Connect with a couple of lenders, because at my company, we do have options that allow for 10% down, and that could help get a buyer that normally thought they could not buy right now because of the news. They could still close. So jumbo transactions, a lot of banks have moved back to the 20% down. Reach out if you need somebody that can do 10% down. We do that in almost all 50 states. Okay,
That's
so that's one.
incredible. Yeah.
Okay, that's one. The second thing is the other end of the spectrum, which is the FHA, the low down payment buyers. The credit score requirements for a lot of the banks have come up. Okay, so it used to be that you could go down to 580 on an FHA, or even lower with some banks. It's not that FHA changed, it's that all the lending institutions out there put in overlays. They wanted to protect themselves. So what they did was they said, we won't do loans if the credit score isn't 620, 640, and sometimes 680. So now more than ever, the different banks have different guidelines. So it's just important, before you're working with somebody that is an FHA buyer, putting down, say, 3.5%, that you actually reach out to the lender and say, what are your FHA guidelines right now? It's just helpful to get somebody on the phone. And if the guy doesn't seem to know what he's doing, or the woman doesn't seem to know, call someone else.
Yeah, perfectly well said. And I want to remind everyone else who's listening. So we have, on average, we've got about 20,000 people that listen to or watch now our episodes. We're super grateful for that. So everyone who is listening, if you are looking to speak and work with a lender that'll take really great care of your clients, we couldn't more highly recommend Joel. Joel, what is the best way an agent, or it may be a buyer, a seller, or an investor, anyone who's looking to do a refinance even? What's the best way anyone should reach out to you if they want to work with you?
Call me next month. I'm on vacation. No, we're working. As you know, ask my wife. I got up early and I do 5 or 6 hours even from here. We're working nonstop. And even when it's vacation, it's more fun to actually work while you're on vacation. You can literally wake up, see the trees, smell the breeze, and enjoy yourself. You can always reach out to me. It's easy. It's Joel, Joel, at rate.com, rate.com. That's the short email. It's a lot easier than joel.schaub at guaranteedrate.com. Yeah. It's a mouthful, right?
Yeah.
And then a direct line for me anytime. You can literally call. I answer almost all day. 773-654-2049. And if you get my voicemail, leave a message. Say, I'd like to connect with you, and I'll make a phone call back, usually within 24 hours. And if it's not me, again, as a realtor, you want to connect with a lender that can actually help you. So if you kind of have some of these relationships, reach out to them and say, hey, I really want to strengthen our relationship. I'm getting ready to do an event. Do you mind being a sponsor, right? Can you donate? And work with the people that want to help you grow your business so that it's a two-way street. Good lenders out there really want to partner with agents, okay? And there's certain people that just want to make it a one-way street, and those are the ones that we definitely don't want to invest our time with. So as an agent, partner with those type of people that want to help you grow your business.
Yeah, I will say, this is sort of a different example, but very similar to what Joel is mentioning, is we partnered with Joel on our podcast. The reason why we do that is he provides incredible value. He does not pay. He's not paid to be here. He is here because he wants to be here. We couldn't be more thrilled because he is providing incredible content. So if this is any indication of what Joel is like with clients, and I know what he's like with clients because I've referred many clients to him, he's an incredible lender and just a great loan officer. Please reach out to him. In fact,
DJ, I thought the check was in the mail, right? You were sending the check, right? Is it still on the way, right?
Well, I will tell you, because of the content that people like Joel provide and our other guests who come on, which we're so grateful for, we actually have a big announcement. I can't make it quite yet, but we're going to be partnering with a massive institution. I can't say any more at the moment, but it's because of us continually providing this value. They saw value in us and are going to be providing some content for our show. So I'll have more to say about that in the next few weeks. But we're very excited because even people like Joel help us grow as well, and he's going to help you and your clients as well. Also, Joel, you'll get a kick out of this. Last night I had dinner. It was my birthday, as you know. I had dinner at Chez Joel here in Chicago, which is it's probably my favorite French restaurant in all of Chicago. So I was at Chez Joel last night.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a great place. Well, anyway, on behalf of our listeners, Joel, we want to thank you once again. You've been with us almost since the very beginning. We couldn't be. It's been 4+ years, almost 200 episodes. We're so grateful that you're continuing to be part of the show. Also, on behalf of Joel and myself, to everyone who listens, some of you have been with us since the very beginning. We couldn't be more honored and grateful to continue to serve you. Please continue to share this podcast. Tell a friend, anyone you know who could benefit from hearing. And remember, these kind of episodes specifically could go to your clients. Your clients need to hear this sort of thing as well, right? So send it to your clients, send it to other real estate agents, and continue to tell everyone you know about our podcast. We'll keep pumping out great content for you with Joel every month. And Joel, have a great time. Have a great vacation. Thank you for taking time out of your vacation to do this. We couldn't be more happy.
Guys, stay consistent. All right. Remember to always be finding ways to give back. This is why this podcast is so successful and that you guys are going to be successful, is that we continually do it on a regular basis. You can't just try something and let it go. By staying steady, staying consistent, you have no choice but to be successful. So I'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, Joel.